Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have guests on talking about the 4th annual Raise Run. Also, I will have on the executive director from Legacy Museum. So make sure that you stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Rachel and I'm a flight nurse with Air Evac Life Team. I'm here to talk to you today about helmet safety. Whether riding a bicycle, motorcycle, or ATV, it's always a good idea to wear your helmet. Helmets not only prevent serious brain injury, they may just save your life. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, bicycle helmets are effective 85 to 88% of the time in preventing brain injury. For motorcycle riders, helmets prevent death 29% of the time and are 67% effective in preventing significant brain injury. In Georgia and Alabama, all bicycle riders age 16 and under are required to wear a helmet. Motorcycle riders in both states are required to wear a helmet at all times. Make sure when purchasing a helmet for bicycles, it has the Consumer Product Safety Committee sticker on it, or CPSC sticker. All motorcycle helmets should have a DOT approved or Department of Transportation approved helmet. Make sure that your helmet fits properly. It should fit snug but comfortable, should not slide from side to side or up and down. Ensure that it sits level on your head, low on your forehead, and never tilted back. Ensure that your helmet does not have any visible cracks or damage and that you don't wear a helmet that's been involved in an accident. Helmets involved in wreck can have unseen damage and may not adequately protect you. For more information on helmets, you can visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website at www.nhtsa.gov. As emergency medical providers in your community, we see a large increase in head injuries over the summer months, especially those related to bicycle, ATV, and motorcycle accidents. Please wear your helmet. It's not only the law, it's the smart thing to do and might just save your life. Have a fun and safe summer from your Troup County Air Evac Life Team crew.
Today I'm sitting down with Pete Thrillkill and also Sam Stewart talking about Raise Run. Pete, Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you gentlemen, and I know this is something that happens annually in our community, and it's for a very worthwhile call. I'm going to jump over to Sam in a moment or two just to kind of get him to share some information about why he's doing this and what the benefits of participating in this event is all about. But before we do that, Pete, tell us a little bit about yourself and your relationship with the Raise Run.
I'm Pete Thrillkill. I work at the post office. If anybody recognizes me, not sure where the face is, I get that a lot.
Poster on the wall?
Post office, yeah, the poster on the wall.
Okay.
But no, I work up front, in the back, or wherever they need me. But more about the Raise Run. I do it personally for Uncle Ray, which Ray Stewart was my uncle, Sam's dad, and I want to keep his memory alive. And he was a big part of the community. Mm-hmm. He was a deputy fire chief, and well known, well loved, and known by a lot, and a lot of people in town. And a lot of people learned a lot from him that would trickle down to a triangle and pyramid effect, would affect many people throughout the years to come.
Absolutely.
So to keep his memory and his name alive means a lot to me and my mom, and and the sisters that are involved, as well as Sam and Aunt Lynn.
Okay, absolutely. And I know this is the 4th year that you all have held the Raise Run, and I think each year has grown and want this one to be even bigger than last year.
Sure.
But Sam, talk about now. I know that Sam, I've kind of seen you grow up a little bit because this is the 4th year, and grown up here with me a little bit. Talk a little bit about what it means for you, the son of Ray, to be participate in this run.
It means a tremendous amount to me to be able to participate in something that not also uplifts my father and keeps his legacy alive, but also commemorates him and almost immortalizes him within the community, and still keeps an active lifestyle and just keeping everything just healthy and good.
Absolutely, and I know that the funds, we'll talk about where those funds that you all will raise, where they're going to go. But talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Pete, a little bit about, first of all, the registration, how people can register to be involved in this.
All right, we have a couple of different ways you can register. First off, we have a Facebook page. You know, of course, everybody does Facebook now.
That's right.
We have an event page set up under Raise Run, so you can get on, like it, and anything that's posted, that any updates, information they may need to know would be on that page. There's also on that page a Dropbox. You can get on the Dropbox, download your registration form, and mail in a check. Locally, it all stays here. If you would like to do it that way, you can also go to active.com or Runner Georgia, and they'll also have a way for you to download a registration form and get you registered through that way if you want to use a debit card.
Oh, okay.
So, which, you know, I'm not sophisticated enough to do debit card myself, so we'll let them handle that.
All right, well, very good. And Sam, I see that you have on a T-shirt from last year's Raise Run 5K. It is going to be a 5K, and I think that there will be T-shirts that will be given out to the participants again this year. Is that fair to say?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Talk about how they can get one of the T-shirts, because that's a very nice looking T-shirt there. How can they get a T-shirt, if you don't mind telling us about that?
You do an early admission, you're guaranteed a T-shirt. If you are a late entry, you just come, you sign up, fill out an application, and if there's one available, we will provide you with one, but it is best to apply early so you're guaranteed a T-shirt.
Okay, well, very good. And like I said, that's a very nice. Now let me ask you, now, Sam, because you've been doing this now for 4 years. This is for 4 years. Well, this will be the 4th one coming up. You told us a moment ago to keep your father's name kind of in the community and among everybody that loved him. There's also a special reason why you do this. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
I was burned in 2010, and some of our proceeds go to the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation in Augusta, and I was recommended to go there, and the day after I got burned, I got up, we went over there, and the people were just so nice and just so helpful and friendly, and it was one of the best experiences I've got at a young age, because I know kids don't like hospitals at young ages.
Absolutely. Definitely don't like needles. And then you're talking about being burned and then having to be transported out of the community here to go to someplace else to receive treatment. I'm sure probably was quite frightening, I'm sure, right?
It was definitely something to experience, but it was definitely reassuring to know that I'm doing something that benefits other burn victims and burn victims that will just benefit from it.
Absolutely. We're good. We're glad to have you involved, and I'm going to get you to issue a challenge to some of your friends in just a moment or two, okay? Now, Pete, you was telling us a moment ago the ways that people can register, and Sam talked about T-shirts that are going to be available. Talk a little bit about the entry fee, and then also we're going to talk a little bit about sponsorship in a moment, if you don't mind.
Will do. The entry fee is only set at $25. Bottom line, no late fees. We want you to come. We want you to participate, have a good time. Don't worry about, you know, signing up too late and not coming because you don't want to pay the extra $5. We want everybody to have the same equal opportunity to participate and be there. The word of mouth of spreading the cause and, you know, the commemorative of Uncle Ray is more important than a dollar to us personally. But, you know, of course, the money does go to benefit a good cause in 2 different ways this year. If I can go ahead and tell you, this year we've decided to split the money between the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation, and also half of it goes to Oakley Humphreys. You know, the small child that in the community everybody's learned to love and is battling cancer. And I'm gonna plug in we have another childhood cancer 5K called the Gold Rush on September 6th. And we're gonna have that starting. It's gonna be on the square, and that's also going to benefit childhood cancer. So anyone who would love to help participate, come on out for that also, and $25 also for the entry fee on that. And again, we'll have another good looking T-shirt. You enter early, and you're guaranteed that. And after the Gold Rush, you're going to have a lot of activities set up, so it'll be a fun time for the family there also.
Well, very good. So all very worthwhile causes, because I remember speaking with one of our local citizens here about the Haley Humphreys in her battle with cancer, and I'm sure that she and the family is graciously appreciative of all the things that you all are doing. And so part of your proceeds are going to go to benefit that family as well.
Right.
Now, and I know that you can never really kind of gauge a goal, but if someone was listening and just wanted to donate, how can they do that?
Also, we have the on the registration forms, you have a little checkbox that has Phantom Runner. A lot of people don't understand what a Phantom Runner is. It's just someone not capable of doing the 5K or the 1 mile walk, or can be here, but they want to participate and possibly get a T-shirt. Just check Phantom Runner. mail your money in with your application form, and we'll get you a T-shirt. And just as you were there in heart and spirit and soul, we'll count you as one. Absolutely. And we'll get you what you need, and appreciate your time and your money.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for that. And Sam, and I know that, again, this is the 4th year, and a part of, and as Pete was talking about activities, I know that you all in the past have had a kickball tournament. Talk about that.
It is a just for fun kickball game, firefighter team against my team of choice.
Okay.
And I challenge my friends, my coworkers, fellow classmates to come help me beat the firefighters and have something over them.
Okay. What has been the success of that in the years past?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I guess you guys have won each time, right?
We have won. What about?
We have the percentage on our side,
yeah,
but not all of them.
Okay, all right. Well, very good. And it's for a very worthwhile cause. And your team of 8 and 10, what's your number that you need?
We go for 9 or 10.
9 or 10?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. So again, you want to make sure, and we talked about registration, we talked about how to get T-shirts, but we also need to let them know where and when. So if you don't mind, talk about that.
Yeah, the place will be the same place as always, Troup County Parks and Recreation Center on the Parkway. Mm-hmm. We start in the parking lot, and we run through the service road, around Harris ball fields, down to across Shuford to the post office, and back around the ball fields and back to the parking lot. This was incorporated in the route that Uncle Ray used to walk for his exercise to try to get healthy. So we wanted to make it, part of what he did also on a daily basis. It's also been known and have been told to me many a times, but it was the flattest course that anyone has run a 5K. So if you want a really good time at running a 5K, this will be your best opportunity to stay away from the hill 5Ks and everything that would not benefit you from getting a faster time. This is right here is all you, just what you got and all you can put out to get the best time you can.
Well, very good. And I think we also need to cover registration time and also kickoff time too that day.
Registration, you can start at 6:30, race time at 7:30, and we'll have the walk at 8:30. And the walk is just 1 mile for anyone that wants to do that. And if you register for the 5K, you can also walk with anyone that comes with you that can't do the 5K. Kickball game will start at 10. Anyone would love to come out and cheer on Sam's team to beat the firefighters. We appreciate you. We'd love to have you out. And I got to throw in a plug for the firefighters. Everyone that chips in, because we have the ones that show up to play the game and make it a fun game. We have the ones that just come just to participate, just to show their support for what Uncle Ray meant to them. And we appreciate all the firefighters and the whole division that comes out and helps us do what we do each year.
Well, very good. I know and remember Ray as well. And anytime we are in public service, fire, police, whatever the case may be, that's a family within itself.
Sure.
And just to you, Sam, and to your mom, who I know as well, you all still have a family, an extended family, and
Very
we try
much.
to do everything that we can. Now, one last thing that we can, before we get ready to close out, I know that maybe someone that may be listening and say, well, I'd like to maybe be a sponsor. How can they do that if they just want to be a sponsor, Pete?
If you want to be a sponsor, if you can get on the Facebook page and notify me, or I will just go ahead and just give you my phone number. I don't even care. If you want to call me, it's like $100 for a sponsorship. Gets your name on the back of a T-shirt. Hopefully over 200 T-shirts that go out through the community to be worn and seen by many. Your sponsorship will get your name, your logo, whatever you choose, and you'll get a free entry into the race. So if I can, my phone number real fast is 706-333-0955, or you come up to the post office and ask for me, and I'll be happy to come up and talk to you and give you any information that I need to get it started and get you what you need.
All right. Sam, one last closing comment on the kickball. Who's going to win this year?
Of course, my team.
Your team, okay. All right. Pete, any rebuttals?
No, I'm on his team.
You on his team? Okay.
I think he chose wisely.
Okay, all right then. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank both of you very much for coming on, and we look very forward to the 4th annual Raise Run that's going to be taking place on July the 19th. Registration starts at 6:30, you all, so make sure you get up and come on out. The kickoff at 7:30, the kickball games at 10:30. Now, in the event of rain, what are we going to do, Pete?
You're going to get wet.
We're going to get wet.
That's all you're going to do.
All right,
if you can't stand a little rain for a good cause, you got to check yourself, because this, it's not worth, staying at home and missing out on a good time.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, both for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back with more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm sitting down with Kay Minshew, the Executive Director of Legacy Museum. Kay, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. Happy to be here.
Well, it's good to sit down with you. Again, we're talking about some things that's going on in our community, and we're so fortunate, as you know, to be able to have the museums and all the things that we have here, the Cochran Gallery, the LaGrange Art Museum. But talk a little bit about your role there as Executive Director at the Legacy Museum.
Well, the Legacy Museum explores Troup County and West Georgia's history from the Indians and early settlers up to today. So, we've got some great Indian artifacts, all sorts of great artifacts. So we hope folks will come in.
Okay. And you know, a lot of times when we sit down and we talk about people asking about things to do in the community, tell them about the charge that you all charge for to come in and see exhibits.
Our admission is free. We're always happy to accept donations, but admission is free. And the other thing, our exhibits in the rotating gallery change about every 3 months. So just because you've seen us, if you haven't seen us, we just changed exhibits in early June. So if it's been more than a month, then you haven't seen Legacy Museum.
Okay, very good. And talking about changing exhibits, I noticed that in the local paper here not long ago, a couple of weeks, the citizens probably saw, you all have a new grinding stone outside. Talk about that and how that came about.
The grinding stone is great. It comes from Troup Factory.
Okay.
Troup County was our first sort of modern-ish textile mill, which opened in 1847. If you drive between LaGrange and Callaway Gardens, you may see the historical marker for Troup Factory, sort of there in the dip, just a few miles south of town. They had a huge grinding stone that we think weighs maybe 2,500 pounds, huge out in the woods, sort of getting covered up by leaves. And so we were approached by the family, Julia Corliss's family, and it was right about the time that she tragically died right after that, but if we wanted the stone. So we were delighted to get the stone. We had a ceremony on May 31st and had a number of members of the Corliss family there. Corliss family owns the site after it quits being a textile mill, but the textile mill operated until about the 1890s, moved into LaGrange, and then after about 20 years folded completely. But they had a huge textile mill village down there, and the grinding stone went with the grist mill. The grist mill opens in 1829, so Troup County's only established in 1826, so it was an early grist mill. And the stone is a great new downtown artifact. It's on the outside of our property and serves to remind people that the museum is there. We were fortunate that both the Corliss family gave the stone, and then folks at West Georgia Tech in the welding shop fabricated the base, and then the city guys helped move the base and the stone, both of which were very heavy, to downtown. And I was real impressed with the city workers. They got it in place in 5 minutes or so. So
it looks like it's a pretty heavy stone. And you say it's from the grist mill, right? So
from the grist mill. So that was what helped. People were grinding their corn and wheat for flour. So that's what helped feed all these people.
All right. You know, it's always, and I notice how you just sitting there and kind of rattle off these dates just off the top of your head. 1847, and the grist mill came about in 1829.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's definitely historic. So is that going to be a kind of a permanent?
That's permanent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's permanent. We can still move it, but we don't want to move it, and it's really sort of bolted and cemented into the ground.
Okay, well, very good. So we definitely want people to come out and take advantage of that to look and see the exhibit to that as well, inside the museum as well. You have something on the mill itself?
A little bit.
Okay, all right, well, very good. And I know that, you know, in the past, you all had the American Roots music exhibit there. Talk about the success of that.
The New Harmonies exhibit was great fun. We had support from the Smithsonian Institution from that, Georgia Humanities Council, the governor's wife, Mrs. Deal, came down for that. But it was a great reminder that our music that we listen to some of it comes from abroad, but some of it is just created by Americans in Troup County. And so It's another way to look at history is by listening to our history.
That's right, absolutely. And you know, it's always a pleasure to sit down to kind of look at how things evolved, and we'll see, and once we start to dig into it, we'll see things that hadn't really changed a whole lot. They just kind of evolved back around. And I know that you know, talking about evolving back around is, you know, another thing that you all help out tremendously with is the genealogy of families.
Yeah.
Talk about how you all.
We're happy to help upstairs in the building, the second floor, with genealogy and people working on their family trees. Some folks, you know, have pretty good records knowing who their grandparents are, great-grandparents on back. Others are doing good if they get back to their grandparents. We don't have a family tree waiting for you. You come in with what you know and we can help you fill in the gaps. Use census records, use records, say city directories. You know, it's sort of fun when you know dates to start filling in the details. Okay, what did they do for a living? Somebody the other day, they didn't know what they were doing for a living, but we found them in the city directory living within inside of Keck's Mill. So we felt pretty certain they were working at the textile mills. And sometimes the city directories will say where they work to, and start sort of filling in the gaps and fleshing out what did these people, okay, if they lived here, they probably went to these schools. And we've had real good success both with whites and with blacks. With black people, it's real hard to get before 1860, but and sometimes it's hard to get back an earlier generation before that, but Clark Johnson and our staff has done a whole lot in working with folks, so we're happy to try to help.
I mean, you know, it's so interesting, you know, when you talk about going back 1860, that, when you talk about going back that far, that's, you know, a number of years back. And let me ask you, again, if someone wanted to come in and do that, is there a service charge for that?
No charge. The charge is if you get photocopies.
Okay.
So,
and that's a minimum charge, I guess?
And we're happy to try to help, and sometimes we sort of help by saying, okay, you need to go back and talk to your parents or aunts or uncles and get whatever details you can, and so we're happy to try to help.
Absolutely.
So,
well, you know, and it's always exciting too. I remember one year my next door neighbor, he did their tree, and I think he came down to the archives there, and he was from Indiana, as a matter of fact, so he was able to go back.
Something like that, sometimes it's access to census records and such. So,
so that basically is, no matter if you're here and have moved here, then you guys still can assist. With.
We're happy to try to help.
Well, very good. Now, and I know that, you know, there's some other things going on there. You all have I think it's a golfers exhibit that's up actually now.
Our current exhibit at Legacy Museum in the rotating gallery is a slice of our history. Troup County golf and golfers. It's been impressive what an impact Troup County has had on the world of golf. In the 1920s, Bobby Jones was beating everybody in the world as an amateur. He gets beat here at Highland Country Club twice in the 1920s in match play. In the 1930s, Ely Callaway wins a few tournaments at Highland Country Club, and a few decades later starts Callaway Golf. Also in the 1930s, we have a couple of caddies who win national tournaments in Atlanta. We've had trouble finding. One of them was Hicks Broughton, either H-I-C-K-S or H-I-X. We would love to know what happens to him. The other one was Mookie Minifield. We think he dies in 1945, but Broughton, we'd love to know what happens to him. Then in the 1960s, Suzanne Jackson is golfs on the boys team at LaGrange High. She gets a full scholarship to the University of Florida and is one of the first female golf pros. She tragically dies of breast cancer in the 1990s, but then about 2000 we have Alan Dole, who wins all sorts of amateur titles in Georgia and in the Southeast, and he goes pro as a senior in the PGA Senior Tournament, and he wins big. And we've got a great display of his trophies, which his family was generous, he and his family were generous in sharing their trophies. So we've sort of got a really interesting assortment of people. You know, Highland Country Club is designed by Donald Ross. He comes down, he's one of the eminent golf course designers. We have Tad Moore, who worked in the industrial park as an engineer, and he starts designing, especially putters and all golf clubs, and he starts his own Tad Moore line and then does an Old Tom Morris line. And so we've got an impressive assortment of folks connected with golf in Troup County.
Well, very good. And that exhibit is going to be up until what
Till
time?
September 12th.
Okay.
It's a great summertime exhibit.
Absolutely.
It's fun. There's some great, we've got somebody's golf ball collection, pictures of other golf holes around the country, so it's a fun exhibit.
Absolutely. I know for the golfers, I'm sure they can appreciate it and definitely will
They
hopefully
can appreciate it. I'm not a golfer. You know, I usually watch 20 minutes of golf at the end of the Masters, but it's still a fun exhibit.
That's
so,
right. Well, good. Well, I was just listening to you, rattle off some of the names: Eli Callaway, Bobby Jones, Tad Moore, and all those. I'm sure golfers, true golfers, probably can relate to those names. I'm sure. Absolutely. So that exhibit is going to be up through the 12th of September.
Yeah.
And again, all of these are free exhibits. Just come in. Donations are accepted.
Always.
Always accepted. And if someone had an interest in a various exhibit, can they kind of suggest?
We welcome suggestions. We don't make any promises, and it may not happen in 2 weeks, but yesterday the guys from the LaGrange Fire Department were coming in asking some questions about their history, and it started us talking that it might be great to have a exhibit about the fire department. We want to have more than just photographs of dramatic fires, but if we could get old uniforms and things. So we welcome people's suggestions.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, there's a lot of wonderful things, ladies and gentlemen, taking place at the Legacy Museum. Kay is there and offering all the services. By all means, it's free. Come on out, take advantage of it, and most of the time, it's something that's kind of pertinent to Troup County and residents of the Troup County area. So, Kay, thank you for being on the show today and sharing all this information.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Why United Way? Because in some way, everyone in our community is touched by your donation to United Way of West Georgia. Yes, everyone. United Way helps 25 local agencies touch thousands of lives, even yours. To cause so many good things to happen, these organizations must have volunteers. Fortunately, more than 2,300 local volunteers are now giving time to the 25 local organizations that United Way of West Georgia helps support. Yes, more than 2,300 volunteers. But more are needed. Please volunteer your time, as well as your financial support. You'll be astonished at what you'll receive in return.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been talking about the Ray's Run 4th Annual, Pete Thrillkill, and also along with the son of Ray, Sam Stewart. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure you come out and support this very worthwhile cause that will be taking place on July the 19th. Registration starting at 6:30, the kickoff for the run starting at 7:30. So come on out, have fun, and it's all for a very worthwhile cause. Also, I had on from the Troup County Legacy Museum, the Executive Director, Kay Minshew, as she talked about some of the previous exhibits that have been held there, and also the Troup County's Golfers exhibit that is on display now. So make sure that you take full advantage of that. Go on out and take a look at it. It's free to the public. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.